Being loyal to a company is completely outdated. Tenure no longer equals security. As if our current economy doesn't exemplify that fact enough, let's talk about money. My name is Sheila Hammond, and I've been working as a business analyst, product owner for over 25 years, and I've seen firsthand how loyalty does not always equal security. Studies by salary.com and Glassdoor consistently show that changing jobs is associated with a higher salary increase compared to staying at the same company. So let's talk about that. Annual raises hover around a 3% raise, which barely keeps up with inflation. I would argue that it doesn't at all. So let's be honest, that pay bump just kind of leaves you feeling undervalued and it does leave you underpaid. Now, let's say that right now you're making $100,000 per year. I picked this number just because it's a round number and math is hard. In 5 years, someone who makes $100,000 today and gets a raise of 3% every year would be making around $116,000. I rounded up. Now, we all know that this 3% is not guaranteed. I can't even tell you how many times companies have said, oh, we're not able to give raises this year. So if you switch jobs twice in that 5 year time frame and got a 10% bump each time, 10% is an incredibly low and conservative estimate. I'm just using this for example purposes. You'd be at about $121,000. So that's an additional $5,000 on top of what you would have gotten at the 3%. Okay. So not too shabby. And that's a really low ball estimate. So when I switched jobs, my pay bumps were usually between 25 and 35%. So let's take that medium at 30%. You've switched jobs twice in 2 years. That would be a new salary of $169,000 a year, which is over $53,000 more than if you stayed at your job hoping for your 3% increase. Now, of course, there are benefits beyond money, such as gaining new skills and experiences with each new position. I have always told those I mentor and those I manage that you need to remember that when you leave a job, you can't take that company specific knowledge with you. So you might have been there for 20 years and know everything about the company, but that doesn't necessarily serve you. You might be a SME in what you do, but if you aren't upskilling, then it's pretty useless even if you stay in that exact same industry for the length of your career. For example, let's say that you're working at McDonald's and you've been there for 10 years. You know everything about McDonald's. You know everything, all the ins and outs. But then you decide that you want to change and you want to go to Burger King because they're going to pay you more. Well, everything now is different. The way they make hamburgers is different. The management staff is different. Their policies and procedures are different. Everything is completely different. But what did you take with you from McDonald's to Burger King? Well, you take things like your work ethic, your customer service skills, stuff like that. Those are the things that are universally valuable. I have been in healthcare, finance, insurance, security. I've even done sports recruiting. And while I've learned a lot about each industry, the knowledge didn't transfer, only my skills did. So, changing jobs also expands your professional network and your contacts. It's going to keep your skill set current and in demand and keep you marketable. With the way our world is changing so quickly, you need to stay on top of that. Changing jobs also builds your confidence through new challenges and accomplishments. Now, I'm not advocating job hopping just for the sake of job hopping. What I'm talking about is career progression. These should be strategic moves that align with your long term goals. Now, I totally get that it's super scary to start a new job and it's a pain in the butt to do job hunting. But if you think the rewards that we've discussed here outweigh that fear, then I encourage you to just do a little bit of research and figure out what your market value is and start exploring new opportunities if it suits you. Now, I also understand that a lot of people value that sense of belonging and that deep understanding at an organization. I just want you to be aware of your earning potential. And I also want you to understand that loyalty should reside with you, yourself, and your family. Do not ever, ever be loyal to a company. It used to be that companies would take care of you, and many places offered a pension, which made company loyalty more desirable and completely advantageous to you. Now, it's important for companies to foster that loyalty in you because it serves them in the long run. They may talk about your workplace being a family or that together you're achieving organizational goals, but honestly, it's all about their bottom line. Employers want you to stay because that 3% increase is way cheaper than a 25% pay bump they'd have to pay to get someone to fill your position. They need you more than you need them. Remember that. So I'm really interested in what you think about this. Do you think that company loyalty is important, or do you agree and think it's a thing of the past? Do you see your coworkers as an extended family, or is your job a means to support yourself and your real family? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. That's all I have for you today. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Lazy BA out.